Good evening, everyone. I think I'm the only one between the awards and the dinner and this presentation, and I hope we all have energy to listen to my saga and serious design thinking that we have been applying at Godrej Consumer Products. So from Kabir Khan to Kirana stores, we've been, I don't know, a lot of people don't know about Godrej Consumer Products. It's a fast-moving consumer goods company. We are present across 90 plus countries, and our business turnover is around 14,000 crore across globe. And our purpose is to bring goodness to beauty and health in the emerging markets across India, Indonesia, LATAM, and Africa. Next. GCPL Design Lab is a small design function, and we call it a design function. It's an in-house design function for many reasons that I'll be talking to you about, and you'll know why it is a function and not it's a department or a studio. We are a bunch of small design team. Some of my team members are here today. And what I want to focus today is basically talk to the role of design, the power of design in empowering a lot of things within organization, between beauty and creating impact and everything that goes in between, and what does it look like when design is institutionalized. So it's my journey in last 15 years of practicing design and doing design right after NID. And a lot of my colleagues and my seniors and my professors are here, so I'll probably be sharing this story with them for the first time. So I'm very thankful for Business World to talk about design also in this platform and to create awareness about something like this and the need for institutionalizing design across all category and how category agnostic this discipline is. It begins with space. It begins with a space and an environment that you create around this design and creative culture that you want to create. And it's a space which is not just a beautiful looking space, but it's a space where multidisciplinary can come in, cross-functional interaction can happen. People across different disciplines within the organization, be it manufacturing, science, marketing, etc., can come together, explore, exchange ideas, share insight, and design becomes an orchestrator or a container for to process those through the tools that we've been taught at school and kind of imagine, prototype, visualize it for them to realize and see how some of these ideas can shape together. So I think one of the important role for design here when it's in the organization is to orchestrate some of these dialogues and orchestrate some of these practices. And it goes without saying now for me, and I'm very sure that it doesn't happen without a strong championship or a leadership from the top. And we are very happy and we are very fortunate to have Nisa Godrej, who's always championed and has always kind of encouraged and created that space for cultivating that kind of a culture. It takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of leadership changes in an organization to run a design function holistically and to its true potential. And I think wherever that design is successful, you will always see that there is a strong champion doing that for you. Going back to the point now, here's where I'm going to talk about some of the stories that kind of made us today, made me very proud to say that no, design works. And it works. It really cut down your progress time from 10 to 2 years. And you can do things in 2 years that you otherwise would take 20 years, right? So back in 2008, where 60% of Indian population was below 25 years of age, this is how the portfolio looked like. I had a young family of my own, and there was nothing from this portfolio that I was using in my house, right? So it was definitely a sign that the world has moved on and the people have moved on, but the companies have not, in a category like fast-moving consumer goods where we were lagging behind and we were not relevant anymore, and the young leadership was seeing that gap. We could see that in market share. We could see a losing business and connect with consumer, right? And what our current consumer needs and aspiration that a company like Godrej, which is 125 years young at that time, and what they had in store in terms of their R&D and science and how design can actually uplift the whole thing was clearly a challenge for us. And from there to 2014, this is how we transformed the brand. And when you look at these products, they're not just beautiful looking packaging, right? I think a lot of the work that has gone into it, which is beyond just making the product design or a brand design, but it actually changed the way we operated in the company itself, the way we were structured in the company, the way we sourced material, the way we did the insighting on consumer, the way we tested our products, the way we up our game on science, the way we did everything possible, differently. It took us 6 years, but that was possible, and this was done completely in-house. And I'm very proud to say that today that this was done with all Indian designer, in-house, in a company like Godrej, working day in, day night out, and trying, experimenting, and not everything was a success overnight, and a lot of things that failed, we didn't know a lot of things, and this is where we reached. I'm going to talk about some of the stories from here that kind of probably opens our minds towards different aspects of design that could be applied and what those could be. Of course, in 2014, my young family had a basket of goodies that I could go back and can use it at home. I'm going to talk about this story of Air. Air was one such brand where, something that smells so good looks so bad. Like, you look at the market at that time, it was tacky, plastic, cheap products, and nobody has kind of thought about that in an ambitious country like us, where homes, real estate, cars were becoming, very popular. We didn't have anything that was, and how do we make air freshener almost look like beauty products of your homes and cars? This was our fastest growing brand till date in India, which became 100 crore in 1 year's time, and it's still growing, and now it's 800 crore brands. It changed the complete landscape, competition. We had MB Pure, we had a lot of other brands, and they looked at our products. We know how this was possible. Not all manufacturers were ready for something like this quality of work, and we struggled to get that quality. I think getting a quality right was always a challenge, but I think a lot of that also changed, and our partners learned to do their things better with good sensibilities of design and our rigor in making things look beautiful. This is another success story. India is probably the largest consumer of hair color. 50% of men use hair color, which is very unlike any other nation. Godrej has always been a leader in hair color, and we were losing share. And I think the principle here that we use design to democratize. We disrupted the product. We actually stripped down all the packaging that we had, and we wanted to just give sheer value to the consumer, and not packaging and plastic and cartons and tubes, but actually invest that money on packaging, on the product and the whole experience of the product and the perfume and the conditioning, and to be able to give I am worth it kind of a 500 product into 30 rupees for every Indian who would want to enjoy good experience and a good format, which is no more a powder hair dye. And we changed the whole narrative of powder hair dye to powder creme color, and we call a rich cream. And today, by far, across the world, we've implemented this sachet in Indonesia, and I think we're the largest selling sachet hair color creme across the world. We did the same thing with Air Pocket. I'm sure you've seen this in all the cars. It was supposed to be a bathroom freshener, but people loved it so much that they started using everywhere. Again, with less packaging, how do I transfer the pure fragrances with the lowest cost, with just a cartridge paper printed nicely with minimum colors was a challenge. And how do we, again, create so much value for our consumers in the emerging markets. And again, this is again a project or a format that we have transferred to other nations in Indonesia, where some of the fragrance market is really strong and it's really growing. With that, I think Air is on its journey to become a 1,000 crore brand. Next. We also applied design thinking in redefining meaning. I think there are a lot of definitions of design, but the one definition that I truly believe is making sense of things. Sometimes we lose relevance, sometimes we lose meaning. And I think when you look at Synthol, a legacy brand like this, which was a premium soap, meant different things in different part of the geography and country, within our country. It was losing its essence in a country where younger audiences were looking for premium product grooming, personal grooming products. We didn't have, and a company like us to build brand from scratch would mean investment, and I think we chose a path to reinvigorate something rather than creating something new, because we knew there was already something existing in our history, and we wanted to leverage that and be futuristic. And it was probably the boldest move that we made here. A lot of people who came to Godrej as new joinees were actually coming because they saw the work that we did here. And it broke all category codes. You look at the soaps in the market and this was just plain color. So design doesn't mean that you have to over decorate it, but I think how meaningfully you design and what you're trying to say and stick true to it is what was presented here. You can see all the clothes were color coded with the soap wrappers. I don't know why, but these are the silly things that we were doing at that time. Yeah, and we continued that journey. We became more and more bullish about design. We started over-designing, I guess, at some point. But I think we really got the grip of, how to get things done. Next. Yeah. And this was one more brand that was created for empowering aspirations of young India and trying to bring quality and international feel from India to our Indians and to the globe. And I think that's something that I really feel very excited about that we could do here. And from there to going to another culture, another journey of our where what we practiced here, we knew our Indian consumers, but when you go to other country, you don't know the pulse of that country and what happens on the landscape and how do we understand them and how do we make sure that we empathize with this culture that we have no idea about, and how do we not be judgmental and stereotyping them the way we look at Indians. They are completely different people, completely different value systems. And this was such another project where there was a need to liberate a culture, women who were very different, very fascinating category called hair extensions, and it meant so much for them. It is called fast fashion in our terms now, and women change their hair every 1 month and then transform into something, and there are so many underlying social, economical, historical aspects and that needed to be discovered, and through our researches on the ground, we wanted to solve this problem and to understand why somebody would sit in a salon for 12 hours to look beautiful and do hair extension, and what's going below this, and why the 1 month's chunk of 1 month's salary is actually being utilized in looking beautiful, and what do we do in this culture where there's a struggle and there's a need for women to stand out and liberate, and empower them with really good quality product to go deeper into understanding this a completely different culture that goes into taking care of yourself, especially hair, and where you see a clutter of products where people are actually selling very unsafe products or relaxers. It's called relaxer. It's basically a tuna. It strips down your scalp, and there are a lot of documentaries that you'll find. And how as Godrej we serve these 100 million darling users with great quality product and give them the pride and cut the clutter that is created by Chinese markets and cheap products, cheap quality products, and what as Godrej can we do in some of these emerging markets. And we came up with this whole brand narrative for these unstoppable women, and I think it's been another successful story. By far this is the largest category in Africa, and we're the largest brand that reaches, and it's called dry hair. We call it dry hair. In the meantime, if anybody has any question, right, I'm happy to talk about. Yeah. It doesn't. Is it moving, Abhay? Yeah. We just didn't stop there. We also went through understanding the whole ecosystem of what happens, where all can we impact. And the culture of design is continuous when it's seeded in an organization. The benefit of institutionalizing design in any small or large business is that it keeps you enlightened. It keeps you energized. There is a creative energy which will keep showing you new ideas, some stupid, some silly, some really good, some really clever. And I think with the diverse team, we also reached out to people like Anuj, who are closer to some of the fast fashion work we're doing. So in-house design teams also allows you to collaborate outside of your own teams, where you seek specialized expertise, where you cannot in-house full-time. And we did all of that. Sometimes you also need to go back to school, get in touch with younger talent. And we did a lot of that with this project. It gave us a lot of insight. Not everything was successful, but I think we learned a lot more through these collaborations across industries. And with that, this is the last example of how we seeing design for future for us as FMCG, and how do we make this everyday essentials, utilitarian products like hand washes, dishwashes, body washes. And this is our product which we're calling, this is a brand called Magic, and this Magic brand is going to be only reconstitutionalized product. It's hand wash made available at 15 rupees for Indians. After this launch, 40% of hand wash category today has changed to powder to liquid, and that has disrupted again a category which was huge. And I think we hope to do this. We love when people copy us. We love when Air gets copied by a lot of our competition, or a lot of international brands of hair color copies us. This has also been copied, so I think it's a great success when people get inspired and try to follow what good you're bringing to consumers. So with that, I would end my talk. Thank you for having me, and this is what I had to share between beauty and impact. What design can do, and I'm going to keep championing design for as long as I can.